Russia's revenge, and Ukrainian civilians pay the price. Overnight, Russian missiles rained down on a residential area there of Zaporizhia. That's in southeastern Ukraine. At least 13 people are dead and dozens are hospitalized, including children. More than 200 rescuers have been combing through the rubble there. They are looking for survivors and more victims. The Russian attack on this civilian neighborhood comes hours after an apparent truck bomb heavily damaged the bridge that links mainland Russia to Crimea, its annexed territory in the south. So that has created a huge bottleneck there, choking a critical supply route for Putin's war against Ukraine. And take a look here. These new satellite images, they show the damage from above. And despite that, Russia says it is resuming some car and train service. CNN's Frederick Pleiken is in Kyiv with the latest. Fred?
Hi there, Pamela. Certainly some devastating strikes there in the town of Zaporizhia. Several residential buildings seem to at least partially have been leveled by those rockets and cruise missiles. Of course, scores of people were killed and wounded in those attacks. And, you know, if we look back at some of the coverage that we've been doing over the past couple of days, it's not the first time that Zaporizhia has been hit. In fact, there were already devastating strikes on that city that also leveled residential buildings. Meantime, the Russians are scrambling to try and get the Crimean bridge up and running again. Here's what we're learning. Satellite images taken shortly after the explosion show the Kerch Bridge engulfed in flames and thick black smoke rising into the sky. Russian investigators continue to say the blast was caused when a truck exploded, causing part of the roadway to collapse and several train cars on the railway track to also blow up. While Moscow says the rail line is back up and running, few cars are able to pass what's left of the automobile section of the bridge, causing massive traffic disruption.
Well, if there's good weather, we will be transported by ferry to cross the Kerch Strait. We're waiting for the ferry.
Russian authorities say at least 3 people were killed in the explosion, but it's also a major symbolic and strategic blow to Russian President Vladimir Putin's war effort in Ukraine. Moscow blaming Ukraine for the attack, but so far no claim of responsibility from Kiev's leadership.
Today was a good and mostly sunny day in our country. Over most of the territory, it was about 20 degrees Celsius and sunny. Unfortunately, it was cloudy in Crimea, although it was still warm. But however the clouds are, Ukrainians know what to do, and they know that our future is sunny.
Ukrainians across the country rejoiced in the news.
Nobody knows how it happened, but it doesn't really matter. Everyone waited for it, not just us. The mood improved. We even decided to take a walk.
The emotions are very positive. The news is good. We have waited, and it happened.
But Russian forces are still capable of wreaking havoc, hitting the major city Zaporizhia with cruise missiles late Saturday, killing and wounding scores, according to Ukrainian officials. After a string of setbacks on the battlefield, the Russians also announcing a new top general in charge of their war in Ukraine.
The Russian defense minister has appointed Army General Sergei Surovikin as commander of the combined group of troops in the area of the special military operation.
One of the main things the new general will have to deal with: difficult logistics, even as Moscow says both road and rail traffic was back up over the Crimean bridge. It's only a trickle of what would normally come across, making this vital supply artery another bottleneck impeding Vladimir Putin's war effort in Ukraine. And Pamela, we've heard from the Kremlin today as well that Vladimir Putin on Monday is going to chair a meeting of Russia's National Security Council. Now, it's unclear whether or not the attack on the Kerch Bridge is going to be discussed in that meeting. However, we do know that Vladimir Putin has already signed a decree to increase the security of the Kerch Bridge because, of course, it's such an important logistics route for Russia's military. Pamela?
Yeah, and it is a prize achievement for Vladimir Putin. So there's a psychological aspect of this and the tactical. Frederick Pleiken, thank you. Let's drill down a bit deeper. Joining us now is CNN military analyst and retired Air Force Colonel Cedric Leighton. Okay, so you have Ukraine publicly celebrating this attack on the bridge, but it hasn't officially claimed responsibility. In terms of both strategy and symbolism here, how significant was the targeting of this bridge?
Pamela, this was hugely significant because this bridge connects connects everything here. So let's take a look at the map. This is the lower area of Crimea is right here. This is already Russian territory, and the bridge is right within this circle right here, and the town of Kerch is right there. So this bridge is really a masterwork of engineering, and for that reason, because it connects Russia with Crimea and then goes into Ukraine, allows for people to go into Ukraine, that makes it so much better for the Russians to move their products, move their weapons, move their troops into a war front. With that gone, it becomes much more difficult.
Yeah, and I mentioned that there's a psychological element to this. Will Putin see this as a direct attack on him and his government?
Well, yes, because in 2018, he actually opened this bridge. That's him walking to the bridge to drive this truck right on this bridge. And the reason he did this was because he was so proud of this bridge and of its connections that it was able to give Russia into Crimea. Basically, it's annexing Crimea for real, physically annexing Crimea into Russia. That's why he did this.
We saw Russia apparently retaliate in Zaporizhia. Do you anticipate more attacks on civilian areas in the wake of this?
Absolutely, and it won't just be Zaporizhia. Zaporizhia is right here. The city of Zaporizhia is actually in Ukrainian hands. Part of the province of Zaporizhia is in Russian hands right now. And of course, the nuclear power plant is right here. We can expect the Russians to attack along this front. Potentially, they may try to do things in this area as well, which the Ukrainians got in the northeast, and even remotely possible, but even around Kyiv, there's a possibility for something like that to happen.
It really is remarkable as we take a step back to look at the progress the Ukrainians have been making. They've recaptured more than 900 square miles in the Kherson region. What does that do tactically for them? Does that put more Russian troops within their line for a range of artillery and drones, stuff like that?
Absolutely, because here you can see, Pamela, right here is the Dnipro River. It goes right in through this area right here. The town of Kherson is this area right here, and then the Ukrainians have taken this and this area. What the Ukrainians can do is they can cut the Russians off. If they cut them off from this area, that means that these troops that are stationed right there are going to be encircled and potentially lost to the Russian war effort.
And as Russia becomes more and more mired with this war, there are some experts who say that it is losing the trust, the support of the former Soviet republics. What do you think about that?
So these are the former republics that are now independent countries that belong to the old Soviet Union, and each one of them has really moved in its own way. One of the key things that has happened is the Chinese have gotten agreements with Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan to build a road and railroad through their territories to avoid Russia. That was something as part of their Belt and Road Initiative, and it's something that the Chinese have actually avoided doing because they didn't want to offend the Russians. Now they don't seem to care about that, so this is a significant development and just one aspect of this. But because the Russians are losing control over these areas, other countries, especially China, but even the United States, are trying to gain influence in all of these countries right now.
That is really telling. Very interesting. All right, Colonel, thanks as always. We appreciate it.
You bet,
Colonel
Pamela.
Cedric Leighton. Well, high stakes, high level talks. President Biden spoke today with his German counterpart, Chancellor Olaf Scholz, about the war in Ukraine. One focus, Russia's disruption of the global energy markets. So let's go now to the White House and CNN's Arlette Saenz. Arlette, what more are you learning about their conversation?
Well, Pamela, President Biden is spending the weekend at his home in Wilmington, Delaware, and it's there that he spoke with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz over the phone, one of the United States' most key allies when it comes to that Russian war in Ukraine. The two men talked about that war as well as recent developments regarding the energy market. That's according to the White House. But that call comes as the president's recent comments about the prospect of nuclear Armageddon remain in the spotlight. This morning, National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said that there is no imminent threat right now of Russia using nuclear weapons, but that the president's comments simply speak to the gravity with which they're viewing the situation.
His comments were not based on new or fresh intelligence or new indications that Mr. Putin has made a decision to use nuclear weapons. And quite frankly, we don't have any indication that he has made that kind of decision. The president was reflecting was that the stakes are high right now, given what's going on the battlefield in Ukraine and given the very irresponsible and reckless comments made by Vladimir Putin in just the last few days. Now, look, he's also said we're not going to be intimidated. Neither we nor our allies are going to be intimidated by this, and we're going to continue to provide support and security assistance to Ukraine as is necessary.
And earlier this week, President Biden also mused in that fundraiser about whether there's an off-ramp for Putin to avoid using nuclear weapons. Kirby was asked about that, and he said that did not elaborate really on any options that the U.S. might be considering, but he said it is ultimately up to Russia to de-escalate and put an end to this war. Clearly, this issue of the war and the possibility of nuclear weapons of top concern to President Biden at this moment.